AITA for always letting my middle daughter choose her room bed first on vacations. My husband and I have 4 kids, Evan 20, Adriana 16, Elizabeth 15, and Michael 15. We try to travel 3-4 times a year. 3 years ago, the night before we were supposed to leave, my friend told us we couldn't use her cabin anymore. We were all looking for new places and Adriana sent a listing for this small town in the middle of nowhere. We ignored it the first few times she sent it, but she eventually talked us into looking at it and it was perfect. We paid a little over $200 a night for a beautiful cabin on the lake with a game room and enough beds to allow everyone to get their own bed. The people were great, the drive wasn't bad, and there was actually a lot of things to do there. It's become one of our favorite vacation spots. When Adriana was 14, we pretty much started letting her book family vacations. She had to run everything by us first, but she was the one that chose where we went and where we stayed. Her only condition is that she gets first pick for rooms beds. She's even booked an international vacation for us, including flights and a rental car. We've given the other kids opportunities to help with vacations. They all know if they can find a place that we'd want to go to and stay within a budget, they can get first dibs if we book it. The problems are that they have a hard time sticking to a budget, or they're set on a specific place even if it's not suitable for everyone. They'll pick a hotel or rental that's nearly the entire or over the vacation budget or doesn't have enough rooms because it has a specific feature. Because of this, we almost always go with Adriana's choice. We recently spent 3 nights in a cabin with 3 bedrooms. 2 rooms had a king bed and an ensuite. Third had 4 twin beds. Adriana chose one of the rooms with the king beds. There was a pull-out couch available but none of them wanted it. After we left, they were upset that Adriana got her own room and bathroom while the rest of them had to share. I told them they know the deal and that if they can find a place for everyone, stay within budget, and pick a place that we'd all want to go to, they can also choose their room and bed. They say they try, but we always pick Adriana's listings. I told them her listings are usually more practical. We paid a little under $600 for the cabin that we stayed at after taxes and fees. It had so many free activities nearby that the entire 3-day vacation for 6 people came out to just under $1,000. They can't beat it with a $1,800 listing with 2 beds and a single bathroom. They think we're being unfair and should rotate who books the vacations and chooses the rooms, but I just don't have that kind of money to throw away, and I'm not going to deal with the fighting that'll inevitably come when they pick a place with not enough beds or bathrooms. AITA for asking my friend and her boyfriend to pay me the cost of ingredients for the Thanksgiving dessert they ate. I 22F live with my friend Chelsea 23F. The two of us live there on a lease, but her boyfriend Jake 23 meters will often come over to spend with her. Not so much, it's like he's practically living with us for free, but enough that I don't get surprised if I come home to see him on the couch occasionally. Yesterday, I made an Oreo dirt cake for Thanksgiving. I'm the dirt cake lady for my family and friends. I'll make it for birthdays, Christmas, New Year's, and Thanksgiving. People will ask me to make it or I'll do it as a given. X200B this year, I changed things up slightly with golden Oreos and was happy with the result as I got it loaded into our freezer for it to set overnight. I checked it on briefly this morning and transferred it to the fridge before going to work. X200B now. While Jake eats while over at our apartment, it's usually Chelsea's food or food we share with each other like pizza, chips, popcorn, etc. I don't mind if either of them eat some of my food, but I will point out if something is for a special occasion so they don't eat it. I texted Chelsea that the dirt cake in the fridge was for my family's Thanksgiving dinner and to keep her and Jake's hands off it. She gave me a thumbs up emoji in reply, and I didn't think anything of it. X200B I didn't expect when I got home to see Chelsea and Jake on the couch, watching a movie with the bowl the dirt cake was in on the living room table and half eaten. There were 2 big spoons inside of it. Obviously, I got irritated and asked her why the fuck did she and her boyfriend eat the dirt cake when I explicitly said to leave it alone since it was for my family and my text. X200B Chelsea tried to claim that the text must have not gotten through, but I shut that down quickly by showing that she replied to it. Chelsea clammed up and Jake tried to defend her by saying it's just pudding, which pissed me off more. X200B I remembered that I still had time to remake the dirt cake, so I asked Chelsea and Jake to give me honey so I go shopping to buy the ingredients and redo it, telling them the price. They both refused and told me I was being overly dramatic over a dessert that doesn't even taste all that great. I asked them if it wasn't good then why is half of it gone in one sitting. They didn't answer me, so I rolled my eyes and told them I expected the money by tomorrow morning. X200B Jake left soon after that, and Chelsea refused to speak to me for the rest of the night. I told my siblings what happened and they told me I was right to ask for them to pay for the cost. Our mutual friends however think I'm being dramatic over the situation and think I should just pay for it myself. X200B. AITA for canceling my own debt to my brother after he let his kids run amok with my art supplies. I currently owe my brother around $300. He fronted me some money for a family vacation and said I could pay him back in December 3rd paycheck month. My husband and I are hosting a small Thanksgiving this year with the family members who live within driving distance, and my brother's family arrived on Monday to stay through the weekend. His two kids 3 and 6 are generally well behaved, but they're still kids. So I let him know to keep them out of the bonus room currently half finished and my craft room. You all know where this is going, so I'll just cut to the chase. I came home yesterday to find the kids splayed out on the living room floor surrounded by art supplies in ruined condition. They were finger painting with my gouache and had completely cross-contaminated the colors, drawn on my good watercolor paper with Copic markers, completely crushing the tips of the markers as well, and ruined or dirtied several items that my friend had brought me from Korea. I confronted my brother, who was nonchalantly watching TV, and he told me that he didn't let the kids go in the craft room. He had gone in himself and grabbed them just a couple things to entertain themselves with. He agreed to buy me replacements until I actually started tallying up the cost, then backtracked and said the price was bullshit and started insisting that most of the stuff was still in usable condition. I said fine, you don't have to replace anything, but you can forget about vacation money. He snapped at me not to argue in front of the kids. I said, who's arguing? Sounds like the conversation is over. Now he wants me to pay the vacation money immediately and work out the replacing of the art supplies after. I feel like he's just going to try to haggle me, or is going to replace my stuff with Crayola and cull it even. AITA for not reimbursing my friend for an ingredient I used for dinner. So the gist of things is that I am 28. Have a friend F32 who I meet up with around once a week for dinner. This will usually be at my home, since she doesn't have much space at hers, and because I will be the one cooking. I love cooking, have been doing it since I was 6, and I'll usually prepare us dinner with a mix of pantry staples and a few things I'll add into my weekly grocery shop. It's a nice little break in the week, and we both really enjoy it. The issue arose when my friend contacted me and told me they would have other friends visiting from abroad on the day we were set to have dinner. She wanted to hang out with them, but also wanted to make our dinner. I suggested if they were open to the idea, they could come with her and I would cook for all 4 of us. She spoke to them, and they agreed. On the day of, I asked my friend if they had any requests. She asked for a local dish that comes with a steak topping baked Japanese curry rice with steak if anyone is curious, and I said that would be fine. I would get the cheese if the 3 of them could get the steak they wanted for themselves. I myself am vegetarian, but I don't mind cooking meat for guests. She agrees. I also give her some suggestions for what she can ask for in Japanese to get a good, mid-priced cut of steak. When they arrive, I'm already doing my prep. My friend hands me the steak, and I notice it's a very high quality one, practically coated in marbling. I mention how surprised I am, and she laughs it off, saying that the assistant she spoke to recommended it as a very good cut. I carry on cooking. We end up having a great dinner. Everyone was very complimentary about the food, and I opened some wine I'd bought for the dinner too. We ended up chatting until quite late before everyone left. Things got a little awkward after they left. I received a text from my friend saying they'd all enjoyed the dinner, and asking me to transfer her around $9,564 for the steaks. I refused, pointing out that I hadn't eaten any, and that I'd paid for everything else. She then said that I should have told her I wouldn't be willing to include the steaks in the dinner and prepared something else, and she wouldn't have bought them as her finances were tight at the moment. To me, this doesn't really hold water. Firstly, because she's aware I'm a vegetarian and wouldn't include steaks unless asked, but more so because she specifically bought a more expensive cut of steak than my recommendation, which feels very presumptive if she truly believed I was paying for it. However, responses from her and some of our friends have been mixed. Some support me, whereas others highlight that she's been struggling financially, and that it's unfair to spring a charge on her now after I covered the cost for all of our previous dinners, making her expectations reasonable. A few have also cited the maxim of the person who extends the invitation pays, which I'm not very familiar with, but is apparently a thing. So, AITA for not paying this back? AITA for telling my son he will pay back for the cheese meat or he won't be eating Thanksgiving tomorrow. I'll keep this one short. Every year we have charcuterie board before Thanksgiving meal at 6. Just something everyone can pick it so they aren't dying of hunger by dinner time. My son 16 loves cheese, and due to this I make sure to label when he can eat something. I labeled all the stuff for Thanksgiving don't eat. Well, yesterday he went and ate all of the fancy meats and basically ate from each block that I bought. I truly was pissed since I worked extra hours to pay for it, since the prices are awful now for a nice cheese. I told him he needs to go to the store to replace all of it, which would cost him around $70. One of the cheese he ate was $18, or he doesn't get to eat Thanksgiving meal. He is refusing to pay for it back, so no Thanksgiving meal. He will eat a sandwich and he thinks I am being a horrible jerk. My husband husband is on his side and doesn't understand why I am so pissed about it. Edit. Thank you. I made up my mind. I already informed my mill of the situation. She offered to bring a nice cheese board if he still refuses. I am giving him one last chance. He can buy it, not get Thanksgiving tomorrow or work for 11 hours to make up the money. I like that idea. Former Redditor. I have a feeling he won't do either of the options given, so probably no Thanksgiving and my relatives will understand.